Hi everyone and welcome back to the June Monthly WARNO Tournament. Today we have a second round match between Tanner and Hippie. Hippie is called Too Fast Too Furious here, probably because he's playing as the 82nd Airborne a lot. He is indeed here as the 82nd Airborne on the left in red, and on the right we have Tanner as the 5th Panzer Division. Obviously Hippie getting out there pretty darn fast with a lot of units and plenty going straight into Delta. He's getting that advanced grab of all of these points. Wants to get that land, obviously lagging behind our Tanner's units, being the 5th Panzers. He doesn't really have forward deployable stuff, he just has the usual recon forward deploy, which is now further back than the actual forward deployment troops. Interestingly, some mortars in straight away there for Hippie. I'm not sure why, I think just for harassment purposes more than anything else. He does seem to be just hitting this road here. Down at the bottom, not a lot of units here for Tanner. He will struggle to retake this unless he brings in more reinforcements. On the other hand, he's sending a lot to the middle. These units are about to go into all of this fire from the mortars, though. Not really having much effect on them, of course. I'm quite curious to see what Tanner is going to do here. He's obviously planning to fill this area here, but Hippie's already kind of surrounded him. Tanner with units here as well. The question is, can Hippie play to his advantage that he's already pushed and is sort of holding these positions? He's coming up against a lot of fire support in the middle here. Obviously losing that Tortu pretty quickly, and this is the problem he's going to have, is yes, he has these Tortus, but Tanner can just spam him with lots of M48s, loads of Leos, and obviously he's got the Marders as well, so he can quickly overwhelm what Hippie has here. Reinforcements are coming in, including a tank there for Hippie. Units sitting very far back for Tanner. Those Panzer Grenadiers, I'm not sure what the plan is. Command coming in for Tanner there, possibly going to go at the middle, I assume. No commands in as yet for Hippie. I'm sure we'll be seeing them sooner or later, though he does really need to reinforce the centre. Otherwise, Tanner is just going to quite happily push through. I mean, the only thing stopping him at the moment is this TOW2. The heavy hogs will also be helping, as in terms of anti-air, there is some anti-air coming in for Tanner now, but it's just a little bit lagging behind. Rocket attack jet coming in, an A-10. Probably going to go for some of this infantry, I assume. Airborne dragons around the back there. Got some shots off, but obviously taking a lot of fire from all of these vehicles. I mean, what we've got, 2 Marders, 3 Leos, another Marder there. That's a lot of firepower. And there's the command in that point for Tanner. A-10 coming in to attack the tanks and things, actually, but it has taken a lot of fire from the anti-air there. Is it going to survive? No, it's not. Hippie will be disappointed with that loss, I'm sure. Hippie's still using these mortars a lot. I'm just not... I'm not feeling the mortars, Hippie. I don't feel like they've done very much to Tanner's units. Avenger in a nice position there, managed to take out a chopper. Look at this little thing coming in. More Jeopards coming in. Heavy hogs still flittering around at the bottom here. I mean, this is, again, not something that's going to do a huge amount of damage to the tanks. Will certainly stun lock them. But now with all of this anti-air coming in, does it really pose that much of a threat? Probably not. He's got a lot of these 20mm cannons knocking around now. Two commands in, obviously, now for Hippie. I'm surprised he hasn't put a command... Oh, there is one coming for the bottom now. I was going to say, Golf is pretty secure for him. He could probably also put one in Delta, to be honest. Though, in terms of units on the map right now, I mean, for me, it does look like Tanner has a lot more available to push forward. Hippie's sort of very spread out everywhere, but just doesn't seem to have a lot of units. And I don't know if that's due to cost, or if that's just more due to him losing a lot. I mean, Tanner's certainly racked up the kills of the early infantry and stuff with all of those tanks in the centre. Down at the bottom, it's a bit hit and miss. He's doing some damage to Hippie's units that were there, but the reality was Hippie didn't have a lot there to start with. And now there's a lot of reinforcements coming in for Tanner here. I mean, Tanner's going to take this. He's got Panzer Grenadiers here, he's got fire support, he's got armbusts coming in and Pioneer Flams. He should be able to take this. Hippie still dropping those mortars down on everything that's coming in where he can, but they're just not doing a lot. I mean, these guys are still cohesion high. Tanner could really do with deploying his troops out of those vehicles before they get destroyed, though. I mean, he's even using the anti-air cannons for fire support, which is a great thing to do at the minute, because auto cannons are very good due to the changes to infantry, which will hopefully be getting reverted. Main fight seems to be for this point at the moment, but I just can't see Hippie holding on to it. And then when it comes to the centre, again, there isn't a lot there. Obviously that tank is managing to scare off Tanner's stuff, but even so, I don't feel like Hippie has a lot of stuff there. Commander's coming in for that point, though. I thought he might do that. Does mean he will be +4. But obviously Tanner's still ahead with his early points. And Tanner now in firm control of that corner at least. More reinforcements coming in. I'm fairly certain that Tanner could take this now, to be honest. Various reinforcements coming in here. He's bringing in more mortars. I'm curious, Hippie, if you're watching this, please do let me know in the comments or on Discord. What were you feeling the mortars were doing here? Were you feeling they were useful? I'm very curious. As we've gone through many a patch now where mortars just haven't been great, and I've not noticed any real difference in this version of the game. Interesting. Artillery pieces in for Tanner now. Trying to take out this command, I assume. Mortars being used here, I assume, on this infantry. Oh, good strikes from that artillery there. Managed to get two pretty much direct hits on those infantry. Loads of reinforcements here for Tanner. By the very nature of this map, it's always quite a slow, methodical game when you get two players who are at similar levels, because there isn't really a way to go round the back necessarily. It's very, well, it's a straight path, isn't it? To some degree. Well, here we go. Tanner with overwhelming force in this point. Very, very much so. The middle's looking a bit more balanced now in terms of number of units. Tanner pushing these units back up towards the centre. There isn't Abrams there, but look at this. Humvee grenade launcher. Maybe doing a little bit of damage to that tank. Yes, it is. Killed by the M1IP. But Tanner quite happily marching across this zone now. Hippie at the other side of this point, however, trying to get a little bit of a push on. Doesn't have a huge amount there himself, though, to be fair. I mean, his tank's going around the back, which is potentially a mistake, because those Jaeger Aufkl could kill that very easily. We might be about to see that happen. Took a shot at the front armor, I think. I think it's alright because it's only taking fire to the front armour. Mortar's now firing on those infantry. Down at the bottom here, I'm pretty sure that Hippie is going to lose that command very shortly. And I don't think he's going to be in a position to retake that point from Tanner anytime soon. His hope is probably that he can take the centre point. He is ahead right now, 592 to 435. But it will be neutralised shortly. In terms of units at the bottom, I mean, Hippie doesn't have a lot. I think it's very reasonable for Tanner to push the bottom of the map here. And that might be what we're about to see. He may go for the push. Obviously, a few reinforcements coming in there for Hippie. He does have, you know, the Humvee grenade launcher. He's got a tank there. He's got a TOW 2 set in there, and you know, the Avenger, but there's not a lot there. He did manage to pull out his command before it got destroyed, but it's not doing him any favors at the moment. This has actually turned into quite a good push by Hippie. He's doing a lot with very little. I mean, there's a tank and a couple of squads of infantry and a Humvee pushing. Grenade launcher being very effective, obviously. But I feel as though, you know, these two tanks, and all of these Leopards certainly, could deal with the majority of this. I mean, those engineers only have satchel charges. Dragon is the biggest issue. Anti-air units in the middle. Keeping the infantry at bay with those very rapid fire autocannons. Again, good use of this artillery. That 150mm artillery isn't doing a terrible job. You know, utilising it alongside the tanks has been quite effective there. That Abrams is in trouble because it's close enough that these guys can penetrate it, definitely. They all popped their smoke because of the missile risk from over here. Only one Leopard left there, and one down here, but both taking fire from TOW 2 launchers. One from a Bradley, one from an actual launcher. Two Bradleys here obviously will be effective against infantry and vehicles, but you know, there's only two of them. They could be easily dealt with. That is a Leo 2A3 there that Tanner has brought in. Obviously 2A3 very effective. Will still take plenty of damage if hit by a TOW 2, however. These infantry probably going to cause the biggest issue for the Bradleys. But of course he does need to overwhelm the Bradleys and make sure the Panzer Grenadiers are in range to fire. Because it's them that would be killing the Bradley, even if the others are providing distraction. Now these have gone outside the forested area onto the hill, so they'll probably be visible. Up here, back in a position where Tanner is sort of semi in control of this side of the point. And again, very few units in the centre for Hippie. Down at the bottom of the map, various reinforcements still coming in for Hippie, but again, not a huge amount of units in the grand scheme of things, but equally, I don't feel as though Tanner has a lot here either. At least certainly not a lot that he's going to be able to push with quickly. Heavy hogs coming in to deal with these infantry, and obviously there is no anti-air there. So I actually think Tanner's going to lose all of this infantry. Really good use of those hogs. And the tank for fire support. Very nice. Really good, Hippie. Really good. Still those mortars raining down. Mortars at the back there getting hit by the artillery pieces. If we zoom out, it's hard to say. I mean, it looks as though Tanner possibly has more on the field, but a lot of it's focused in the centre now, and admittedly, I'm sure that Tanner would like to push there. He is getting quite far across the point with all of his Leos. He does have a 2A3 there now. I think he could easily get in here. I mean, there's not really anything to stop him. There's some Avengers. And for some reason, Hippie is bringing in more mortars. There are so many mortars on the field right now. What is Hippie doing? I don't understand. Are they really doing that much? I'm really curious at the end of this game to see if these mortars have killed anything. I can understand them being used to like stun or panic units, but I'm not even seeing them really do that. Cohesion mediocre. Those guys bailed out. Maybe it worked on them. Heavy push in the centre for Tanner. Look at those units go. He's just going across with everything. Tanks, infantry, recon. Mortars obviously raining down. He's smoking there to stop Tanner being able to just kill that Avenger. Infantry coming in, tanks coming in. I mean, unless Tanner does something very silly, he's going to take control of the centre. And there isn't really much that Hippie can do in terms of moving units up from the bottom to respond to that. Tanner does need to be careful at the bottom there, because he is going up against an M1 with those M48s. He's not going to win that fight. I doubt they can even pen at that range. Abrams there, almost dead. There it goes. So many mortars, Hippie. So many more. And that's pretty much all you've got there. And you've got well, nothing there, actually. Apache will be helpful, but there's nothing at the back here either. So Tanner could just storm through there and get the back point as well. 20 minutes left in this game. Certainly Tanner with a significant advantage now in terms of units on the map. Apache doing a really good job, and you know, Tanner sort of coming up slowly with these towed anti-airs, but they will take a while to get to the front to deal with that Apache. Little birds coming in. I love the little birds. Let's zoom in on that. Look at it go. I love little birds. So, Abrams has pushed all the way up here. mean, there's not a lot in there at the moment for Tanner, so it could be that Hippie does move that command vehicle back up into the corner at that point, which isn't a bad idea. It certainly means that he'd bring the points down to +1. And he is getting a bit more of a foothold in the top corner again here, thanks to these choppers. Really, those AA need to come up, or he needs to bring in more AA that can actually shoot at the front lines and move around a bit faster. You can see he is bringing in another cannon there. But a Jeopard's coming in at the bottom. Still +3 to Tanner, but there goes the command vehicle at the bottom for Hippie. He will neutralise that point. And there's the +1. I feel like Hippie's brought in such a strange mix of units. He sort of relied on these mortars, which I still have a question mark on. And he's brought in quite a lot of choppers this game as well, which have been very helpful at times, but it does mean that he's lacking in actual brute force on the ground. Be that with infantry or more tanks. Little bird getting shot at by one of those now. It is dead. The Jeopard's also getting plenty of shots off. That Avenger just seems to manage to keep surviving in that top corner. Hippie obviously bringing in reinforcements here now, but Tanner still in pretty firm control of this point. He has the ability to fire support with the Jeopards against aircraft and also the tanks against ground forces. All the stuff that Hippie brings in here is at risk once it reaches this tree line. Look at those Jeopards chewing up that chopper. Is that M48 may finally kill this Avenger? I have high hopes. Yep, finally dead. It's taken most of the game. As you can see down here, obviously command in this corner. Really, Tanner needs to think about dislodging it. He's got a couple of fighters in to deal with that AT jet. Oh, they went after the chopper instead. Now going after the AT jet and have killed it. Nice move. Obviously very little anti-air from Hippie whatsoever. He's got a couple of Avengers down here, but that's it. That's pretty much all of it. Abrams up at the top again. He won't have anything there to necessarily deal with that in a hurry. Could do with maybe moving up these two tanks. Hippie managing to stay in with a couple of things here, but he's missed that Jaeger Aufkuhl, and that Humvee CV is going to die. It's the Jaeger Aufkuhl, surely. Yep, there it goes, instantly dead. He was briefly +2 points. Lux Recon coming in down here, obviously with their autocannon. I assume that is going to be to retake this point. Tanner back to +1. 15 minutes-ish left to go in this game. And it's just been a very slow, gradual push by Tanner, with a little bit of bite back from time to time by Hippie. But I'm struggling to see Hippie coming out on top, because Tanner seems to be in very firm control of the centre. Though it could be that Hippie manages to take it with the use of choppers. Certainly down at the bottom here, Hippie's done a good job at pushing back in, but he doesn't actually have anything there really. He's just got the vehicle. Command now dead, back to +3 points for Tanner. Obviously, the majority of resources for both players have been focused on the center of the map. Hippie starting to get a bit of a foothold up here again. And Tanner having to pull back to repair and rearm his big tanks. Those two Leo 1A5s did get moved up here. Smoke being used to stop the Leopards firing at Hippie's reinforcements coming in. Obviously, he can see these airborne engineers because he's sending the look straight there. The Alouette must have seen them. He'll be sending this over here to have a look for that command, I'm sure. And if he can spot the command, he'll probably use his artillery pieces on it. Though, saying that, they are out of ammo right now. Avenger did kill the recon chopper. Command coming in, and we'll be heading to the top corner of Bravo. Obviously, these two Leo 1F5s currently pulling up a fight, but one's dead, the other one damaged. Oh! HE bombing run. First one took out the Avenger, second one took out the command vehicle in the corner, so he did see them both with his recon. However, there is another CV in there now. Unless he just moved it in time, actually. No, he could have moved it out, I suppose, and then back in. He must have done. I don't think he had a spare one there. Little bird coming down. Obviously, Tanner making a push at the bottom. Good maneuver. Hippie's getting back in the center, so Tanner needs to push the bottom. Command is dead. +5 to Tanner. 12 minutes to go in this game. Tanner going to be in very firm control down here, though is missing a bit of anti-air against these little birds, but technically could potentially use the looks to kill those little birds. Jeopard is coming up to help, though. There it goes, firing now. Jeopard seems to be making short work of choppers at the moment. Looks taking out these engineers. A-10 rocket taken out very swiftly by those anti-air jets. Back to +2 as there is a command now in the center for Hippie. Interestingly, this Leo 1A5 is still alive and will probably kill that. How is that even there, still alive? Watch this, it's going straight into the tank. Oh, Hippie. Oh, he realised. But unfortunately, Tanner didn't, so he didn't get the shot off. Commiserations, Tanner, you very almost caught Hippie off guard completely there. 11 minutes to go, but I think Tanner might have this now. Hippie with a lot less units on the field. He could keep fighting for this, but he's, I feel like he's on the back foot. And has been for quite a while in the grand scheme of things. Very good move from Tanner to push Golf. I wasn't expecting it myself, to be honest. I thought everything was slowing down a bit again, but that was a really good move. Obviously still some reinforcements coming in down the main road there. These looks, I think, may go up here to try and kill that CV. Yeah, they're going up that way along with a couple of attack choppers. Command in here for Tanner as well. That will be +4 points. And that's the surrender. Commiserations, Hippie. Really good fight. Tanner, very well played. As always, really good game. Look at the difference in the kills to losses. Quite a big difference. That was kind of reflected by what we were seeing in the field for a lot of that game, where it always appeared like Tanner just had more on the field. So that works out well. Let's have a look. So Heavy Hog's doing a really good job, as expected, taking out a lot. The M1IP Abrams doing a really good job. Yeah, Apache doing a pretty good job. So all I can see is every so often I see a M30 107mm mortar just kind of sat with one kill. They didn't really do a lot, did they, Hippie? You really have to explain to me why you brought so many of those out. I'm really genuinely confused. On the other side, leopards getting most of the kills, as you would expect. Yeah, leopards. Oh well, good game, guys. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned tomorrow for the second game in this matchup between Hippie and Tanner. Will Tanner take the second game as well, or will Hippie fight back? And will he still be playing as the fast and furious 82nd Airborne? Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.